Hi, this video will talk about how to use a graph to write the equation of a polynomial in complete factored form. Here I've got my graph, and here for our convenience I've given the definition of a polynomial in complete factored form. F of x equals a subscript n. Remember, a subscript n is our leading coefficient. Okay? Alright. And now we simply say x minus cn on down to x minus c1, where each c to the k is a 0. And remember that a 0 is just another way of saying an x-intercept. So first let's look at my graph and determine the x-intercepts. Alright? So I know that f of x, in my case, is going to be equal to, well, I don't know what a sub n is. Alright, it's my leading coefficient, but I don't know how to determine that quite yet. So let's just put what I do know. X minus an x-intercept, or a 0. I have one at -4, -2, 3, and 5. So I've got x minus a -4, so x plus 4. X minus a -2, or x plus 2. I'm just going to continue that down here. X minus a +3, so x minus 3, and x minus a +5, or x minus 5. Okay, so now I've gotten my equation in complete factored form except for my leading coefficient. How am I going to determine a sub n? That's the big question, right? Well, I want to go to my graph and find a point. Okay, so the easiest one to pick, if you can read it off, is here. I want to pick a point I can read off exactly. So I'm not going to pick a point like right here where I'm a little uncertain. Is it 25? Is it 24? I don't know. So I'm going to pick a point. The easiest one to use is when x equals 0, and you'll see why in a minute. Alright, so I'm going to use the point x equals 0, y equals -60, okay, or the point 0, -60, okay. Now, when my x equals 0, what am I going to do? I'm just going to plug in 0 for each of my x's. And what am I going to do with the -60? Well, that is what it's going to be equal to. So I get -60 equals a sub n, okay. And now I've got 0 plus 4, so 4 times 0 plus 2 times 2. 0 minus 3 is a -3. 0 minus 5 gives me a -5. So I get -60 is going to be equal to my a sub n. And now 4 times 2 is 8 times a -3 is -24. What is 24 and 5? It's 120. Okay. Yes, it's positive. Okay. So now my final step in solving for a sub n is to divide both sides by 120. Okay. I get that a sub n is going to be equal to -60 divided by 120, or I can write that as -1/2. So now I know all the pieces to my puzzle, so I'm ready to write this in complete factored form. F of x is going to be equal to, instead of a sub n, I now know what that is, -1/2, and then I can write the rest of it. X plus 4, x plus 2, x minus 3, and last but not least, x minus 5. So now I have it in complete factored form. The only hard part here is that you won't know a sub n and you'll have to solve for it. You'll have to pick a point on the graph that you can read off exactly, such as here, 0 minus 60. You plug in whatever your x value is at that point for x, and you plug in the y value for your f of x, your left-hand side. I might have picked this point. I could have plugged in 2 for x, okay, and I could have plugged in -35 if that's the right number, and I should have gotten the same number. I should have gotten a sub n to be the same answer. So it doesn't matter what point you pick off the graph as long as you can read it pretty accurately. That's how we determine the equation in complete factor form given the graph.